I don't think I've been this happy in a long time, y'all, because last night, Donald Trump faced crushing defeats and embarrassing losses in elections across the country. And instead of taking the L quietly, he decided to make things even worse for himself this morning, firing off a series of unhinged posts, attacking Republican senators directly, and then giving what can barely be called a speech in Miami, standing before business leaders from all over the country. Trump completely fell apart. The room went silent as his mental decline became impossible to ignore. We've been talking for a while about his cognitive issues, but today he showed the world exactly what we've been warning about. We're going to break down that moment, the one where Donald Trump could barely speak and lost the crowd entirely. But first, if you haven't yet, please leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us keep doing this important work. Now, before we show you the clip of Trump's breakdown and the stunned reaction from the audience, let's start where he did, by bizarrely choosing to attack Barack Obama.
All because they want to return to the failed Biden policies that created, and also Obama policies. I watched him the other day up talking, well, Donald Trump is a mean person. I'm not a mean person. I just want to have a country that's great again. Is that okay? I'm not a mean person. He's a mean person. He's a divider. He's a divider. Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. And by the way, ask him how he's doing on his museum library. He's got hundreds of millions of dollars of cost overruns. It's come to a dead halt. He built it in not a particularly good location. He's not into real estate, you know. He doesn't know about location. He doesn't know about location. But he built it in a location that's not going to be too good. But the thing has come to...
Whenever Donald Trump feels cornered, and right now he absolutely does, his behavior becomes completely predictable. I've said before that it's not an exaggeration. Last night's election results and the upcoming midterms could truly mark the end of Trump's presidency as we know it. Even Mike Johnson admitted earlier today that Democrats and progressives are poised to blow up Trump's term and block his agenda. Honestly, I hear that and think, where do I sign up? Sounds perfect. But when Trump gets angry, panicked, and afraid, his go-to move is always the same: attack Barack Obama. The man lives rent-free in Trump's head. And really, why on earth is Trump ranting about Obama's presidential library during what's supposed to be business and economics forum? Maybe it's because Trump's not exactly a fan of libraries, considering he's never been big on reading. And of course, he didn't stop there. After going after Obama, Trump turned his sights on the man who completely humiliated him last night, Gavin Newsom.
Slimy one, maybe that should be his nickname, Slimy Newsom, right? But he doesn't have it. But you look...
Slimy Newcomb. That's really the best he's got? Because here's the thing, Gavin Newsom doesn't need cheap insults. He has millions of votes behind him. Votes that sent a clear message: Donald Trump, go home, you lost, and you're not going to rig the midterm. Prop 50 passed. Maryland's spoon, flipping. Virginia's next. Maybe even to Illinois. What we're seeing is a wave of momentum that Trump can't stop. And he knows it. That's why he's terrified, trying to keep up appearances by peddling the same empty nonsense he always does. But the truth is, no amount of bluster can hide what came next. Trump literally couldn't even speak.
Biggest vote in history. And above all, we won a resounding mandate to make America great again, which is what we're doing. And every day since, I've been fighting to turn the promise made into the ultimate promise kept. We're going to do our job. We have a big job to do. We've done really well. I think it's the best 9 months, they say, of any president, and I really believe that. If we can have a few more 9 months like this, you'd be very happy, you'd be very satisfied. But it's been pretty incredible, with trillions and trillions of dollars being poured back into our country by other countries and other places and people. 1 year ago, we were
The best 9 months ever. Really? By what measure? Who's actually saying that? Besides you, Donald, and your little circle of enablers like Carolyn Levitt and Howard Nutlick. These are the same folks who spend all day flattering you, pretending everything you touch turns to gold. It's embarrassing. It's weak. But go ahead, Donald. Keep tossing out fake stats and fantasy numbers. The real economic reality is obvious to everyone else. People are struggling. They're angry, and they blame you because your chaotic, clueless leadership is making everything worse. That's why today's moment was so telling. When Donald Trump literally couldn't get through a speech while talking about the types of people who come to Miami. It was a total collapse. And everyone in the room saw it.
For generations, Miami has been a haven for those fleeing communist tyranny in South Africa. I mean, if you take a look at what's going on in parts of South Africa, look at South Africa, what's going on. Look at South America, what's going on. You know, I'm not going to, we have a G20 meeting in South Africa. South Africa shouldn't even be in the Gs anymore. Because what's happened there is bad. I'm not going. I told him I'm not going. I'm not going to represent our country there. It shouldn't be there. Take a look at what's happening in different parts of South America. Take a look at what's happening in different parts of the world. But now the Democrats...
So clearly, Donald Trump can't read. Or at least not well enough to know what he's saying. He meant to say South America, but blurted out South Africa instead, and then just rolled with it like nothing happened. He even started rambling about loving the white people there and saying something bizarre about the G's, whatever that even means. It was uncomfortable, confused, and deeply revealing. Another classic Tim Apple moment where Trump trips over his own words and then tries to pretend it was intentional. The room went silent. People weren't laughing. They were uneasy because what they were seeing wasn't confidence. It was clear decline. Trump was angry, erratic, unable to read the teleprompter, and completely out of his depth. He can't govern, he can't manage the shutdown, and he definitely can't lead. What can Donald Trump even do at this point besides lie, complain, and blame everyone else? Honestly, it's exhausting. That's why last night felt like a breath of fresh air. Because for a brief moment, he was forced to stop talking. And guess what? The energy has shifted. Woke is back, progress is back, and people are done with Trump's nonsense. He's not some master strategist. He's a tired con man propped up by others like Stephen Miller and Russ Vought, the real puppet masters. And the funniest part? Trump himself basically admitted it while rambling about Joe Biden in one of his most clueless rants yet.
But we don't use auto pens in the Trump administration to sign things. We don't believe in that. You know, I get these guys come in with these big, beautiful documents, gorgeous, beautiful, must cost a fortune. I should check the price. But, you know, a general is being made or something, you know, some big post. And they say, sir, would you sign this, please? It's going to be a 4-star general, or it's going to be a big cabinet position, or it's going to be something with medical or whatever. I take my pen and I sign it. In his case, they walk it into a room and they give it to somebody who's no idea who Biden is. But Biden doesn't have any idea who he is either. And they have a machine sign it, the auto pen. And all of the pardons, he gave thousands of pardons to people. He had no idea about it. He didn't know about it, and therefore all those pardons are void. You know, you have to have, it's a very complicated thing if you're going to use a machine. You have to do it properly. And he didn't have any idea what was happening. And this is what we had as a president. We don't want that. You have the opposite right now. I don't want to be braggadocious, but you have the exact, I know exactly what's happened.
No auto pen, huh? Really? Then what about that pardon? The one you supposedly signed, but didn't sign, but also somehow did sign, though you don't remember doing it. So which is it, Donald? Either you've got serious memory issues, which wouldn't be shocking given that mysterious MRI scan, or you are using the auto pen to sign official pardons. And when asked about it, what does Carolyn Leavitt do? She goes full Dear Leader Trump, acting like he's beyond questioning. I swear her defense of him sounds like a parody. Lips pursed, voice trembling. Dear Leader Trump said he didn't know him personally. That's basically her response to everything. But Trump's actual quote from 60 Minutes. I have no idea who he is, no idea what's happening. When is my Big Mac coming? That about sums it up. So no, I'm not buying the excuses, and I'm beyond done hearing about the auto pen. Donald Trump is weak. We need to keep talking about that because the mainstream media sure won't. Independent media has to fill that gap, not just by existing online, but by telling the truth others won't. His decline is real. It's visible. And every time he tries to spin it with these ridiculous lies, it just makes him look even weaker, as you'll see in this next painful clip.
The people with jobs that aren't going to get paid and aren't getting paid. And no matter what, we will not let them impose their inflation-causing extremism on the American people. We're not going to pay $1.5 billion for people that came into our country illegally, okay? If you don't mind. That's what they did last time. Remember the Inflation Reduction Act? The greatest scam, one of the greatest scams. I would say some of their environmental scams were even bigger, but one of the greatest scams ever. Inflation Reduction Act. And then they admitted it had nothing to do with inflation reduction, remember? But it did actually cause massive inflation. It actually caused massive inflation. But we don't use all.
How exactly did you beat inflation, Donald, when your tariffs are driving prices through the roof? Seriously, can anyone make sense of what he's saying today? Because it doesn't seem like the people in that room could. The crowd sat mostly in silence, with only a few polite claps from the billionaire donors he begged for support. It was awkward, and it showed. Nobody's buying what he's selling anymore. You can see it now more clearly than ever. His cognitive decline, his confusion, his inability to string a coherent thought together. And I'll say it again, because we need to hold on to this momentum. Donald Trump knows the midterms could mark the end of his presidency. This week was a brutal reality check, and even Republicans are starting to face it. For years, they've ignored how deeply unpopular they've become, but now they're being forced to see it. And that's because of us, because people have organized, spoken up, and pushed back against this corrupt administration. It's our strength that's turning the tide. So let's keep that same energy. Let's keep calling out Donald Trump for what he is. A bumbling, cognitively fading, power-hungry grifter, and expose his attacks on vulnerable Americans, starting with the latest lie he pushed right here.
In 9 months, we've lifted over 600,000 Americans off of food stamps, which is a record. 1.9 million more American-born workers are employed today. Think of that. Almost 2 million American-born workers are employed today, more than when I took office. That's 9 months ago. Can you imagine that? And I tell Republicans, if you want to win elections, you got to talk about these facts, you know. It's really easy to win elections when you talk about the facts.
Donald Trump isn't getting anyone off food assistance. He's not putting people back to work. Jobs are vanishing under his so-called leadership, and groceries are more expensive than ever. The truth is, Donald Trump claims he's reducing food stamp numbers only because he's refusing to deliver the food aid that Congress already approved. That's not policy, it's cruelty. And now he's falling back on the same tired racist stereotypes, calling struggling families moochers while ignoring who's really living off taxpayer dollars. Because let's be clear, the biggest freeloaders in America are the billionaires speaking at that very conference he's attending. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Ellison. These are the people pocketing your tax money while paying their workers poverty wages. Corporations like Walmart underpay employees so badly that those same workers are forced to rely on SNAP just to feed their families. That means we subsidize their profits. That's who's really milking the system, not the families just trying to get by. Donald Trump will never call that out, but we will. If you want to keep supporting that truth, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.